Well, good morning and welcome to Tackett's House of Horsepower. I'm Steve Tackett by myself today. Again, my days off usually fall during the week, so it's pretty rare that Sarah and I get a weekend together. But anyways, we're back at it. This is going to be episode 4 of the Down N Dirty Chevelle build. Also, pour 15. It really doesn't come off your skin, like for real, not kidding. So here's where we're at. The frame is coated both sides with pour 15, and it looks good. It's nice and glossy, and it's almost as tough as like powder coating, but it only costs 40 bucks. So there you go, pour 15. So we got some bad news. So the rear end, look at my finger. Anyways, that rear end, it's wrong. I was a little suspect when I was looking at the springs and the bolts and stuff in the last video. I was like, man, I got a bad feeling this may not be the right rear end. And guess what? It's not. It's a 7.5. So that rear end is not going to be used. It's two reasons. One, you can't really get any aftermarket parts for a 7.5, and they're very weak. And not saying that 8.2 is much better, but the 7.5 is really bad. It's there's not a lot of aftermarket parts you can buy for it. So, and it's shorter, which explains why my tires were like damn near touching on the inner wheel well, but I had a ton of room on the outside. So that rear end is 58 inches drum to drum. And the factory rear end is 60.5. So anyways, I'm trying to track down a correct rear end for it. So hold off on the rear end. Parts have started to show up. I have most of the suspension, but not enough of the suspension to start assembly. So I can't really do anything with the frame. I wanted to start putting the suspension together, and I was hoping to have the rear end rebuilt by now and have the rear end back in it, but I don't have a rear end. So I'm just, I'm running into brick walls everywhere I go. So OPG, come on, man. I ordered the parts, you guys said you had it in stock, and then I get an email days later that it's on back order. So like I'm waiting on parts, suspension parts. What I do have is engine parts, alternator, power steering pump, oil pan, yeah, so spark plug wires. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this frame out of the way today, and I guess I'll do some work on the engine. This engine needs to be a few things taken off of it and switched. So basically, like, the main thing is the oil pan is wrong, the headers are wrong, the spark plug wires are wrong, the bottom pulley's wrong. I need a double groove pulley because I'm gonna put the power steering back on it. So I guess I mean I can't waste a day off, so I'm waiting on parts for the frame. So I think this is going to be a short episode, and we're just going to address the engine a little bit today, and hopefully I get a few phone calls, maybe run up and get a rear end, hopefully get it to the shop. I don't know, but like I said, I can't waste a day off, so the show must go on. I must make progress every day. So September's coming up fast, so here we go. Okay, so we're gonna prep this engine today. We need to change a few things and check a few things, and I don't know, go through it. This engine is an engine I built several years ago for a buddy of mine named John, and real cool dude. He was gonna put it in his Camaro, and he wanted a 383 that had lots of torque and could run on pump gas and drive daily, but still had some grunt that would smoke the tires on demand. So I built him this 383, and he ended up not using it. He sold the car. I think he sold everything he had and went to McKinney, Texas to start a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym, believe it or not. So if you're down around McKinney, Texas, look up the CJJF Academy, and the lead instructor slash guy who can twist your neck shut whenever he feels like, his name is John. He's actually a pretty cool dude. And so this is for you, John. I'm actually gonna finally put it to use. He ended up, like I said, he sold the car and sold everything and went to Texas. So I ended up buying the engine back from him, and I was gonna put it in the wagon. That's why I put all the Nova stuff on it. And then the wagon ended up changing, and it got a new front clip and all kinds of stuff. So I ended up not using this engine. So it's just been sitting here. So with a few modifications, we can make it fit into a Chevelle, and we're gonna find out if it's fast and if it can survive Rocky Mountain Race Week. So it's got to be pretty fast. It's got to be pretty reliable. It's got to survive 1,100 miles and race every day at a different track. So here we go, John. So we're gonna find out if we built this thing right or not. So there you go, John. All right, got the headers off, and I went and stole the pulley off of the blue wagon because it's a double groove pulley. So I swapped them, put the single groove pulley on the wagon because it doesn't have power steering. So put the double groove pulley on here, and I've remembered that this side is missing valve train because I stole a bunch of valve train off of this to get my other buddy's engine running. So I got to do a quick valve adjustment over here and put all the valve train back on one side, and then we'll go from there. This engine here has a hydraulic roller cam in it. So what I'm doing is going zero, put it on base circle. We're going 0 lash till you just hear it, just till it touches. So base circle, 0 lash, and then half a turn. Half a turn, lock it down. So we'll do this side, and then valve adjustment's good to go. Okay, we got this side all buttoned back up, valves adjusted, pulleys swapped out. Alignment looks real good. Yeah, it looks good. I guess we can move on to the oil pan. It actually still had oil in it, so while that's draining, I might as well go ahead and stick my new alternator on. And it's a 100 amp, one wire. Should be plenty. So I'll go ahead and throw this on real quick. All right, well, let's take a look and see what we got. So I guess I could go through this and tell you what it is. It's the block is a 350 block, bored 30 over. It is a 4-bolt main. It is a 1-piece rear main seal. So it's a newer block, a little bit newer anyway, newish. So 4-bolt main, 1-piece rear main seal, 30 over. The crank is a Scat 9000 383 stroker. The connecting rods are I-beams, ARP bolts. The pistons are full floating Hypertectics. I know, that's kind of the drawback. I've been wanting to put nitrous or something, coming up with any way I could possibly make this faster. And the Achilles heel for this block is going to be those pistons. They are Hypertectics, and the rings were not gapped for it. So remember, this was supposed to be a street engine, a street build. So the compression's also kind of low. These pistons with these heads are RHS 200cc runner with 72cc chambers. So the compression is like 9-to-1 right on the button. So it's not, it was made, like I said, it was made for street use. So this was built for pump gas. So the compression's kind of low. So they are high protective pistons, and they are only 9-to-1 compression. So that's going to be the drawback. Other than that, it's a pretty stout little engine. Aftermarket heads, RHSs. The intake is a Victor Jr. that was port matched to a 1205 Felpro gasket. So this thing should make good power, but like it's not what I would consider like full race or anything like that. It's not gonna like break any track records. The stock windage tray had to be modified slightly to accommodate the clearance for the larger stroke. What else? The block had to be ground. I don't know if you can see down there. The block had to be hand ground, of course, to clear the 383 stroker kit. Other than that, it's a pretty simple, pretty basic engine. What you would consider a good mild street engine, you know. So I'm hoping it makes good torque and I hope it makes good power, but I don't know. I don't think it's gonna break any records or anything, but it should be fun. This thing should be a lot of fun. It's gonna make good power. So that's it. I'm gonna start putting this oil pan on. I got a 7-quart Y-end intake or oil pan. So anyways, I'm just plugging along. Oh yeah, I did find the cam card. It's a Howard's hydraulic roller, 501, 509, 112 lobe center, and it is 224, 230 at 50. So yeah, it's a real mild cam, but it'll make power. Okay, got the oil pan on there and put the starter back on. And then I went ahead and started on the power steering pump. And that's when I ran into a problem. There's always something. So there's 2 different style, maybe 3 different style, long water pumps. And this one has the Boss that is it's a through hole. I need the one that's threaded. So basically that's the wrong water pump. So I just ordered the right one. I gotta get this one off, and I'm gonna have to switch water pumps. So basically all this has gotta come back off and switch water pumps. And then I can work on getting my pulleys and stuff all done and put some belts on it. So I gotta take this water pump back off. Well, there we go. We didn't do too bad today. New oil pan, oil filter. Got my brackets and stuff all figured out. It lines up really nice, actually. Only problem was I had to change the water pump, and here's why. Small block Chevy water pumps, these long ones, some of them have a Boss here that's through holed, and your power steering bracket hangs off of that. The newer ones, I'm not sure which, later 70s, 80s, somewhere in the 80s probably, they went to this style that has a different Boss and it's threaded. that hole is threaded. So my power steering bracket, the way this one's set up, it needs that hole to be threaded, and the Boss was a little shorter. So the spacing is different and it's threaded. So anyway, the bottom bracket bolts on down there. This guy here, this is like a Saginaw style pump. It's a Saginaw style pump, but the brackets kind of go like that. I kind of like it. Plenty of adjustment, as you can see. I like it. Alternator. I need to go get a shorter belt. My tensioner is like all the way maxed out, so I want to get a. It would run like this, but I don't like it. So I want to get this back down. So I'll go get like a 1/2 inch shorter belt, and there you go. It's made. If you're interested, I got this from Summit. It's a company called ICT. Made in the USA. There's your part number. So yeah, if you're interested, that's what it looks like. Anyway, the engine's ready to go then. So once the frame is finished, all the suspension back on it and brakes, my plan is to take the engine, and there's a 400 tranny somewhere back there. There's a turbo 400 back there somewhere. I'll pull him out and I'll set the engine and tranny in the frame. So it's ready to go though. I got new headers coming. It'll be here in a couple weeks. Getting parts lately, man, I'm telling you, everything is weeks out. I'm like, come on. So yeah, I got different headers, some Hooker Super Comps, ceramic coated, 1 3/4. Probably a little bit overkill for this motor, but hey. So I'll have to redo these wires. I've already got some new ones here. So once I put the new headers on, I'll remake the wires. But I got a video somewhere of this engine running. I'll see if I can dig it up. It's on my phone way back, years back. If I can find it, I'll put it in the video. It'll probably be formatted all wrong, but I can show you this engine was running, and it sounded real good. It was actually pretty responsive. So we'll see. All right, well, I guess I did enough damage for today. Like I said, I got to get something done every single day off I get. I got to hit it hard. So I cannot waste any time. So even though I'm waiting on parts on one part of it, I can focus on another part of it. So something has to get done. I have to accomplish something every chance I get. So hey, I appreciate you guys watching, and I would really like it if you hit like and subscribe, or hit that bell. You know, give me a comment. I really appreciate it. And so till next time, take it easy.